Hello, this is the Provoked Prawn, and this is the HTC Vive Cosmos. This is a subjective review to talk about my opinions about the HTC Vive Cosmos and why it's interesting, potential problems, the highlights, the lowlights, and other things from my time with the HTC Vive Cosmos. Now, I've done an unboxing video, a comparison with the Rift S, and a video to talk to you about the small problems with this headset that I'll link to in the description below. It's a separate video, so if you want to check those out. But this is intended as a sort of review and overview of the different features and facets of the headset and what I think about it. Now, a couple of things for reference. First of all, I have not looked at other people's reviews of this headset or watched any videos on it. This is my own personal experience, and it is likely to be different from others, but it might include some of the same things. I am influenced slightly by comments in the unboxing videos and the versus videos that I did, where people have commented on the battery life of the tracking controllers, and I will talk about that in a bit of depth as well. However, I am coming from a bit of varied background when it comes to VR devices. I've tried all sorts. I started off with the HTC Vive, but I've also tried the Vive Pro, the Rift S, Windows mixed reality devices from Asus and Acer, and the Oculus Quest and the Oculus Go, and now the HTC Vive Cosmos. Now, on paper, this is the most interesting headset from HTC Vive, in that it has the best lenses, and I'll add specifications in the description to give you an idea, but these have the best pixel density and apparently offer the least screen door and God rays and other things like that, and the best experience. It's also 90 Hz refresh rate, and I talked about other things about how it stacks up in specs comparison with the Rift S in that other video, but my experience with it is that it is a very good headset, a very good quality screen, very good sound, very good comfort. However, I did note in my problems video that there are some issues with it, and I want to talk in a bit of depth about those, but also the highlights to the headset as well. So I've had some good experiences with it and some not so much. Now, one of them right now I'm actually having, and it's nagging at me while I'm sitting here talking to you, because I've got the headset on so I can record with the microphone, so that gives you an idea of what the quality of the mics is like straight away. But down in the bottom of the screen I have a sign that says, "Environment is too bright for tracking to be accurate. Adjust lighting or draw the curtains." Now, this was actually in the reviewer's guide, and I noted it in the problems video immediately, that the reviewer's guide said that this headset works best in rooms with patterned or coloured walls. Now, if you look behind me, you'll see I have white walls. My office is unfortunately in a conservatory because that's the best space in my house for all my stuff, and that means there's a lot of windows around here, and the walls are white and the desk is white, and so it's very bright in here. Now, apparently that means that these inside-out tracking cameras have real problems working out where the room is, what it looks like, which is weird because as I'm wearing it now I can see the inside-out tracking pass-through vision, which basically shows a blue outline around all the objects in the room. So I can see that the headset can see those things, but apparently it's too bright to track. And the recommendation is to draw the curtains, but unfortunately I don't have any curtains. Now, this is quite a big problem for me because it means that I cannot use this headset during the day. That is a potential problem almost immediately, and not necessarily one that everyone else had had, because I'm in quite an unusual situation in having white walls and no curtains. I have no curtains or blinds in the conservatory. Long story, but they were taken down for just building purposes. This is a newly constructed room and they've been taken down, and I've not put any new ones up, so I can't draw right now. At night I had the reverse problem where it said the environment was too dark, please turn on some lights, and I've got a lot of lighting here. There's 6 Hue spotlights, nano leaf lights, all sorts. Turn them on to maximum and it's still nagged about being too dark. Now, HTC has updated the firmware on the headset so that message no longer appears, and it does track well at night, and that is not a problem tracking at night, but it was just this constant nagging warning about it. So I thought it was going to be an issue day and night, but actually it's just during the day that it's a problem. Now, this is quite a major problem if you want to play during the day, because obviously you can't. Well, I can't. I could go to another room in the house, take a laptop, move my PC, go to a different room, close the curtains and play there, and it wouldn't be an issue. So, and whether it's an issue for you or not is going to be up to you and your setup. However, it is potentially a big problem and a weird one, because the Oculus Rift S did not have this issue, and it has similar inside-out tracking. So the inside-out tracking basically means all the camera lenses that you can see around here tracks the controllers and your movement in the room and where you are in the room, and returns that all to the headset. So you don't need external base stations or tracking sensors in any way. So that means the setup with this headset is really easy, and that was great on the Rift S, and it's great on this too. You plug it in, you turn it on, and away you go. As long as you're not changing the space, it remembers where you are from last time when you mapped out the room, and you can just go on and play, and it's not a problem. However, the fact that it can't work during the day, but the Rift S can, you've got to question why that's a problem. This headset is a little bit more expensive. I said slightly more expensive. It depends, it's a subjective opinion, but the Rift S is $399, this is $699, so it is quite a bit more expensive, but it does have a superior screen, better audio, a modular faceplate for future upgrades, the potential to be a lot better headset in theory. However, the fact that it won't work during the day in a white room is quite a big problem, and not the only problem. Now, the other issue that people have had, that I will say I haven't had yet, and I'll explain a bit more, is these tracking controllers. The Vive Cosmos controllers, as you can see, have this funky white LED strip light thing around the top of them. They're very chunky. They're AA battery powered. Now, the AA battery power is the main problem that people have had with them. The controllers apparently can last for as little as 2 hours. Now, I've seen comments on my videos saying something like, people using this to play Beat Saber or a fast-paced game like that, 2 hours and the controllers have run out of battery, which I can see would be very frustrating. For me, it's been between 6 and 8 hours, and I've still got juice left. And I've been playing pretty fast-paced games, including a boxing game. I played Bridge Crew, I played Rad TV, I played Drunken Bar Fight, a lot of sort of really quick movements with the fighting ones. And I've still got juice in them, and they just keep going. So it's going to vary wildly, and I imagine it's going to vary based on how much you're moving your hands around, the feedback you're getting. So these have vibration built into them, so if they're vibrating a lot, then I suppose that's going to use up more battery and stuff. Now, a downside initially I thought about when I saw these controllers, as well as because it's AA batteries, that's kind of a step backwards from the original Vive, which had built-in batteries that you could plug in and charge, and I really thought that was convenient and great. Now, I had a friend that said, really, you think that's better than having AA batteries, because it means the controllers, once the batteries are died and you can't recharge them anymore, the controllers are then broken and you have to buy new ones, and they're rubbish. The opposite is true with these, where when those batteries run out, all you have to do is replace them. However, if you only get between 2 as the minimum, and let's say 8 to 10 hours out of them, depending on what games you're playing, then obviously you can churn through a lot of AA batteries. And as a dad, there are already a lot of AA battery powered things in my house for my kids, so we were regularly buying batteries, and having to buy more is a real pain, I'll be honest, and not something terribly pleased with. So that is a nag. Now, the other thing about these controllers is they look really cool. They've got multiple buttons on them. The design is nice. They look awesome. One thing I noted in my other videos is they're very chunky. If you compare them with the Rift S controllers, they're very big in the hands, very fat. This is actually a problem after a while, I found, with games where you're using the side button to grip things. I found that my hands got tired out really quickly, and these soon became uncomfortable. They're also very chunky, and I've got quite large hands, so it's not been an issue, but if you have small, slender hands, you might find that they get very uncomfortable very quickly, or it's even difficult just to hold them. So that is a potential issue, and obviously not a great one. The other big issue I've had with this headset and with the controllers is some games just won't work with it anymore, and games that you would expect to work. So if you see games in Steam VR Store that are marked as HTC Vive compatible, you'd think they'd work with the Vive Cosmos, Actually, they don't necessarily. Some do and some don't. It's really been hit and miss. I've been going through my catalogue. I've got quite a few different VR games now, and I go through, and I usually like to play the same game, so I can tell the experience between the different headsets. If I'm testing out a new one, if I play the same game as I played on previous ones, then it gives me a good sort of base level to be able to say whether a headset's good or not. And some of them worked and some of them didn't. One of the games that did not work was Super Hot VR. Now, Super Hot VR is a fantastic game. It's pretty fast paced. It requires some good tracking, so that was a good experiment. And the controllers were just not recognised. I booted the game up and my hands were on the floor, and I couldn't move them, and the controllers were not on the floor. They were in my hands, up here by my face or whatever. Or, I moved them around. I turned them off and on again, and I still couldn't get it to work. And it wasn't the only game. There were several other games that worked on the Vive and on the Rift and the Rift S, and just would not work on this headset. It wouldn't track them. The game would load, but it wouldn't do anything. Now, HTC Vive has acknowledged this. There's a article that discusses the various different problems and the fact that it's not working with certain games, and I'll link to that in the description. But it's worth noting and bearing in mind that perhaps not all games that you think will work. However, it could just be the developers need a slight update and then the game will work because it will track the controllers. The controllers aren't that vastly different to the Rift S, so you wouldn't think it would be that difficult to be able to set the games to work and track them properly. Now, when it comes to tracking, I've not had an issue. People have said that there are issues with the controllers tracking. I've tried several different games. I tried Shooty Fruity, Space Pirate Trainer, a few different fighting games and things, boxing games, fast-paced games where the controllers need to be tracked accurately, and I've not found any issues, whether it's going behind my head, in front of me, to the sides, whatever, quick movements. I've had no issues at all with them, actually. No dropout, nothing, and it's been a good experience from that point of view. And I've been talking about a lot of negative problems, but actually I've had some really good experiences too. I feel like the lenses are a lot better quality. They're really rich and vibrant. You get a good screen experience. You have that manual IPD adjustment wheel, so you can adjust that nice and easily. I don't feel I can get your face close enough to the lenses, so perhaps I can see more of the outside of the screen than I'd like. But that's a problem with a lot of different headsets. And the comfort is excellent. The design is fantastic. I love to be able to flip that up and out of the way when you want to. The adjustment wheel, the headband, all of that is great. It's fine for wearing. When playing, it's been comfortable to wear. I've not had any nagging problems with it being too uncomfortable. The cable's fine. The headphones are fine. The fact they flip up and out of the way and they move around nicely as well. Generally speaking, from all that, it's been great. I've also had a great experience with the software. The way they've got the software working, when you just press a button on the controller and you get instant access to your library. Now, it ties in both VivePort and Steam VR into one piece of software, and it's really easy to access any game that you've got in your collection from there immediately and launch it. Now, with other headsets that I've tried where I wanted to play a game in Steam VR, I often found that I had to then take the headset off and mess around with stuff in Windows to get it working, and it was on and off. Just going between games is always a pain. With this, it closes and launches the game really easily. There's a lot less taking the headset off. It's a lot smoother and much better software experience, so they've really improved things there, and it's fantastic in that way. As I said, the quality of the gaming is also good. Great visuals, good sound, nice comfort, and I've not had an issue with the tracking. So generally speaking, this has been one of the better headsets that I've tried. There are a few gripes with it. I don't like AA batteries. I don't like the fact that you can't use it during the day. That is quite a big drawback. It is quite pricey, but I do feel like you're obviously getting the best screen experience around. It's better than the Vive Pro, and you consider that the Vive Pro is more expensive, substantially more expensive. The Vive Cosmos is actually possibly a good option, but it will depend on your room. If you've got curtains, if you've got coloured walls, you might not have an issue. And for me, it's not actually going to be that big of an issue because I'm rarely going to play during the day anyway. I'm working, and at the weekends I'm dealing with children. I usually only play in the evenings, so it's not going to be a major problem. However, in the summertime, in the depths of the summer when it's still sunny outside in the evening, that might be a problem for me. And if you have a bright room and no curtains and white walls, then you're going to have a similar problem. And it doesn't look like they're going to be able to fix it with firmware either, so it's potentially a big issue. The fact that some games won't work and you won't necessarily know which games don't work, it's also a big problem. If you're already invested in the ecosystem and you have Vive games and you think they're going to work, you might find they suddenly don't. If you're brand new into the VR experience and you think, oh, if I just buy HTC Vive compatible games from Steam VR, they'll work, they won't necessarily work. So I'd recommend checking online to double make sure that the games that you think are going to work will work, because I have a few in my collection that definitely won't so far, but it could be they'll get fixed with ease. So all in all, I've got mixed feelings about this headset really, which is a shame because I felt like when I first got it out of the box I was going to really like it. I like HTC, I like the previous Vive headsets. I thought they were going a bit too expensive with some of their headsets. This one's cheaper and yet still has high-end features, nice quality design to it. The modular expandable faceplate makes it in future they can do more interesting things with it. You've got the comfortable visor, padding, excellent lenses, great sound, flip-up earphones, flip-up visor. There's a lot going for this headset, but there are a lot of negatives too, which is a real shame. Hope you found this video useful. Be sure to check out the other videos, including the Versus video and the unboxing for some close-up shots. And let me know in the comments if you have any questions, queries, or if you have any weird random experiences with things like the controllers or the tracking during the day. And tell me what you think about the fact that it doesn't track in a white room during the daytime as well. Thanks for your time. Thanks for watching.
This has been the Provoked Prawn. Hope you found this video useful, interesting or hilarious. Be sure to subscribe and check out these other videos, as well as taking a look in the description for links and other information you might find useful. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions or anything you'd like to see extra about this, and have a great life.